I was muted. Let me try that again. Hello, gorgeous human beings, and welcome to the channel, a summit of sisterhood for me, for you, for us. Today we have already had an incredible speaker with us, but this next piece is going to be very exciting because we have not one, but two channel sisters popping on at the same time. I'm going to give them an opportunity to explain the reason for this, and they'll explain what their process was and why they decided to do this together. But it's going to be different than the past duo dynamic that we had, because I am actually coming in with a funky energetic threesome in this whole thing. And so I'm a little more included than in the other one, which I'm very excited also about. It's going to be different. We are going to get some processes today. We are going to get some treats. It's going to be great. Both of these extraordinary human beings are in a vortex of patchy Wi-Fi that we are going to try to stabilize with our energy, but we are aware that this is why we're a little bit late. We're trying to figure out, we could hear the patchiness, we're trying to do our best with it. If there are words that are missing, I would like you to quiet your fears that you're missing out and instead just trust that there is all the words you're picking up are the ones you're supposed to pick up, and you will figure out the thread. Just breathe. The more stressed we are, the less it makes sense. The more relaxed we are, we fill in the blanks. We human beings can fill in all blanks. When we really pay attention, we can even read words that have half the letters missing in them. Like we can do this. And so I'm really excited about the intention of this call. And I really want to hold space for it to be delivered the way it was intended. And I believe that we're going to get there because it's meant to be. So the two people I'm presenting today, first of all, is Jenny Bitner, and second of all, Katia Pagan. And these two women are both so different, so unique, and so extraordinary. And I've had such a different experience with both of them. They're so different, yet there's a thread that always courses through all of us. And so Jenny and I have had the opportunity to be in different masterminds as well. So she joined the channel, then the matrix, and we were able to have, some really deep connection and time to a lot more time together. And so I know Jenny a lot more, but the connection I have with Katia is an unspoken connection, even above anything else. I feel like so many times throughout the channel, she has just shown up with the perfect thing at the perfect time. And I feel like the same thing has happened on my end. I've said the perfect thing at the perfect time. And it just seems to be like, no matter how much we connect, it's what happens when we connect that's so magical. And I think it's fun in life to see those dynamics. Like you'll have friends or people that are in your life that you speak to so often, and that crafts your connection. And there'll be other people in your life that you don't speak to as much, but every time you speak to them, something happens. And they're equally powerful, like equal power, but different relationships. These women both have extraordinary stories, extraordinary courage, a willingness to go above and beyond for their missions. They have a lot in common energetically and in a visionary kind of way. And so I want to give them the opportunity to set the context for us. And I am going to just be the supportive energy. I was told to bring a candle, and I do what I'm told sometimes. So I have my candle. I am here. I am ready. And without any further ado, I would love to welcome Jenny and Katia to the floor, or to the sky, or to the energy, or wherever it is that we are, to the platform.
Thank you. Oh, what a beautiful introduction. And with that, we are going to begin actually just right from the get-go with Katia, creating a beautiful space for all of us to set into the energy and the intention. Our topic is called Secrets of the Universe. And we're not going to coin that term because this was Nikola Tesla who said, if you want to discover the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, vibration, and frequency. And so Katia and I do have a common thread here and stories and how we align together through sisterhood in Tulum on two very different paths. Yet when we heard each other's stories, we found this common connection. And so Katia is going to open our ceremony today with something very beautiful. And if you are not driving and you have a place where you can rest, for just a moment, we're going to go ahead and get started.
It's a beautiful honor to be here today. And I would like to invite us all to drop into our bodies by taking a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth with sound. Again, in through the nose and out through the mouth with sound. Again, in through the nose and out through the mouth with sound. I want you to put your hands on your heart. And as you feel your heartbeat connecting with your body, feeling yourself being supported by the chair, the couch, the bed, where you're at right now. Tuning in to the beating of your heart, the way it feels against the palm of your hands. This vibration, this energy, this frequency. And as you feel your heartbeat, imagine each heartbeat opens a beautiful expansion of energy around you. And as this circle continues to expand, you see it widen enough to cover the room you're in, the car you're in, the house you're in, the town you're in. And this white light continues to expand, and you notice this light is connecting with each of us in this beautiful space today. And as we walk together in this beautiful sacred space, I want to grid our four corners by honoring the mountains of the north, the form of Prithvi, earth, for grounding, support, and holding the northern quarter of our space today. I also want to honor the winds of the east, the spirit of Vayu, for clarity and direction, and for holding the eastern quarter of our space today. Honoring the fires of the south, the heart of Agni, for your purification, your alchemy, and transformation, and for holding the southern quarter of our circle today. To the waters of the west, essence of Jal, for your clarity, your cleansing, and your purification, and for holding the western circle today. To the ethers, for manifestations, connections, and co-creations, and for holding our circle today. I also want to call forth our masters and our ascended guides, our spirit animals, our ascended masters, our archangels, and all those beings and energies that operate in ultimate love, bliss, expansion, pleasure, medicine, light, alchemy, flow, the frequency of unity, to be present in this beautiful space with us today. Aho, Nashe, and Satnam. I want to invite you into a beautiful journey with me, keeping your eyes closed. You're going to find yourself surrounded all of a sudden by a beautiful white cloud. And as this white cloud begins to fade, you find yourself, you are in the middle of the jungle, listening to the jungle sounds, seeing the sun occasionally trickling through the trees, the birds, the sound of your feet treading through the mud, through the slippery stones, feeling grounded and safe. The feet and the ground beneath you feel familiar. And you're walking a narrow path marked by stone. And as you're treading downhill, you're beginning to notice you have a backpack, and it's heavy. As you notice this backpack, you turn around, put it down, and you open it, and you find a wooden box. You almost know what this wooden box is holding. It feels heavy. You're almost blaming it because it keeps you stuck and it's slowing you down. And yet you continue down the path. And when you see at the end of the path, a small hill leading up to a house, a wooden shack, you see a small chimney, you see smoke coming out. You're feeling called intuitively to bring this box into this place and surrender it into the fire. As you're walking down, you start hearing a song in the distance that is calling you forth. Guardianes gigantes, naranjo y grises, nacen desde lo más profundo de nuestras raíces. Los baña la lluvia, los peina el viento y brillan junto al sol. Y brillan junto al sol. You find yourself at the entrance of this door with the box in your hands, this heavy box. As you walk in, you notice there is a fireplace at the end. And as you intuitively felt called to, you're walking into this fire and you're opening this box to surrender everything to it. As you open this box, you notice your body begins to respond energetically to every situation, every memory, every thought form, every idea, every pattern, every story, every belief that is kept in this box is tied to a part in your body. Those moments when you didn't speak up are tied to your throat. Those moments where you felt absolute fear are tied to your heart and your stomach. Those moments where you felt sadness are tied to your digestive system and your lungs, and you're noticing how your body is being held into all of it, which is drawing you forth even more to surrender it into the fire even faster. And before you do, you hear another song, a song that softens your heart, a song that opens it to a moment that you start noticing how your body is feeling lighter, and you're remembering that each story, situation, idea, memory came into your body as a gift that you may remember. This is your doorway by giving it love, by giving it attention with intention. This is your medicine, this is your alchemy. And as you start hearing the song, you feel called to surrender each item into the fire as you see your body surrendering it as well. Iwth ni taoshu iwth. Iwth nitashun. Iwth nitaya. Oshakiriba nita oshun. Cheke, cheke, cheke. Nitaya. Iwth. Iwth nita oshun. Iwth. Iwth nita oshun. Iwth nitaya. Oshakiriba nita oshun. Cheke, cheke, cheke. Nitaya. Iwth. And as you witness everything burn, you notice it is not consumed. There is a crystal, a stone that is forming at the bottom of the fire. You're feeling drawn to hold it in your hands. And as you hold it in your hands, you notice you're not alone anymore in this beautiful sacred space. And as you turn around, you're feeling a presence. And you notice this is your highest and ultimate expression of you in the present now and in the future. And as you hold this crystal in your hand, your mind's eye knows what this crystal is. You're receiving this stone as a memento of your story, as a knowing and a remembrance that every part of your body, every energy that it brings is a message. This is your story, this is your medicine. And as you give yourself your medicine, you're giving the world your medicine. And as you hold the stones in your hand, you're witnessing how this highest expression of you hugs and merges into you. Taking a deep breath in with the nose, breathing all that in and out the mouth. And as you're standing there in front of the fire is pulling you in. And as you're being drawn into it, you're noticing you're being brought gently back into this present moment. Where you can wiggle your toes, sway your body, move your fingers, open your eyes, and come back into the present moment. And if you can see Melanie's white flame, you get to remember this fire is that doorway. You get to bring your medicine into the fire, transform it, and make it your story. Aho.
Thank you, Katia. That was so beautiful. I just had this moment thinking about how, as we all have these flames and we hold these flames, that flame is like it's like our soul, it's like our spirit, and it's the one thing that we all came from. That flame is like a ray of sun. You know, you've got that big ball of fire where we all came from, and every fragment, every ray off of that big ball of fire, those little flame specks, God has a little human at the end of it. And if we could all sit here and hold the candle knowing that that flame is actually what connects us all. So beautiful. I love you. Thank you for opening with that, Katia.
That was so beautiful. I was not expecting that. That was absolutely stunning. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So do you ladies want to take a moment before I kind of take you on an individual journey to explain what is the common thread? Like, why did you choose to do this together?
Sure. Katia, do you want to?
My way into this path with Jenny was how in the channel was where I began my walk with plant medicine, ayahuasca, psilocybin, bufo, combo, cannabis, tobacco, cacao. And my intention was wanting to create this experience by bringing you with me. And what I understood in Tulum was that you can find this energy inside of you without me having to bring you with me. And that's how pretty much I connected with Jenny. There was a moment where we exchanged medicine and frequencies when I was in my moon cycle. And there was a moment where the experience I shared with her brought me back to the jungles of Colombia, where I sat with grandmother ayahuasca for the first time. And understanding that the energy inside us can be expressed and shared in more ways than one connected me to Jenny through the Healy frequencies, vibrations, and energies. And this is how we merged paths.
So the Healy being this device that really helps with frequency and attunement. This is the Healy. So you, Jenny, you had the Healy, and Katia, you were talking more about the medicines that you were accustomed to. And then through conversation, you realized maybe this frequency device might be right up your alley.
And I was in my moon cycle at the time. So I understand much more about the moon cycle and the energies around that and feminine with all the walk that I've had in the AFE world and growing in the channel sisterhood. And I was noting that I required attention with the pain. So we programmed the Healy to target my womb space. And for those 28, 29 minutes that I was in the frequency device, I was back in the jungles of Colombia having a full experience with grandmother ayahuasca. And I was flatly, like laying back flat, and my body just felt like I was standing in what I call now the quantum field, just receiving alchemy. When I came to, I was still laying down, of course. I'm like, what is this? How can I work with this? How can I make this part of what I am beginning in my path now, which is hybrid healing, energy medicine, and creating alchemy for everyone that wants to find it within themselves.
Wow. So then your journey started together and you decided to become, I guess, partners in the same team to move forward. That's awesome. So
Miss Lisa from our channels actually also created these gorgeous necklaces out of nice, beautiful gold. So we're all somehow, connected.
whoa. Your Healy is hanging around your neck in a gold holder.
Well, I mean, it's Lisa.
Okay, this is the most next level thing I may have ever heard, ever. So, okay, I love how all of your art all comes together in this. This is brilliant. So in our discussion, so I'm going to speak with you both individually, and there is one other little thing in the middle that's going to happen, which I'm excited about. So I'm going to go into a conversation with Jenny, and then there will be a little moment, and then we're going to go into our time with Katia, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny. This is interesting. So Lisa says she infuses the gold with the frequencies of her Healy. And she actually said that to me, and I didn't get what she meant when she said that she had infused my medallion with frequency energy. I was like, oh, that's so beautiful. But what she means is she actually charges it with the Healy device. Okay, that's pretty next level. Okay, well, this is exciting. Well, thank you both for coming together. And I feel like this is such a beautiful collective moment, and to decide to do your call together, I feel makes such a beautiful statement. So I love that you did this together. I'll go with Jenny and then we'll come back. Okay, so let me pin Jenny just so it's easy for everyone to know where to look. Hello, Jenny Bitner.
Hello.
How are you feeling?
I am so good. And yeah, that was just such a beautiful opening. And even a couple weeks ago, Katia and I were having a call before we decided to merge our calls together, because originally we were doing just our own individual call with you.
Yeah.
And I had a moment with her where we were on a call, and I had told her how they had discovered a nodule on my thyroid back in May, and we had to get it biopsied and all of this stuff. And I told her, because she's an internal medicine doctor as well, who has switched into a hybrid model where she does plant medicine and all of the alternative things to bring us back home, right, to who we are. And I said, I keep feeling this though. Like, I can't stop feeling this on my thyroid. And I know it's there and I feel it and it bothers me and I have a hard time swallowing. I have a hard time, whatever, all of the things. And so she said, and she took me into one of those moments and she did her thing and she did her magic and she pulled the messages that were out of it and I spoke them, of course. And I haven't told her this yet, but I figured I'd wait till this moment. So I have not felt it since, and that was about 4 weeks ago. And so it was after that where I allowed my thyroid to speak its own message of why ever I kept feeling it. So yes, I had done the biopsy back in the summer and all of the things, but I felt like it was still holding this message. And after she did what she did, I had released the message out and I have never felt it since. And so it was something after that clicked and I sent her a message like, we need to do our call together. Like, we just need to bring this energy and this truth about what it's like when you really do come back home. Because if I take us back to January 9th, 2022, when me and you had our very first call to open the channel, like, I was an energetic tornado. Like, I don't know. I was as in my human without realizing that there was any other option as anyone could just be in their human, not knowing that there's a whole space and dimension beyond that. And where I am now, we're in a totally different world now.
Energetically, I would say of all the participants in the channel, you're the one I've seen the most change. Like, that first call with you was a different person than who's here right now. Like, there's a groundedness right now. There's a focus. There is a trust, a maturity, like, and I mean, you'd already done so many incredible things in your life, even though you had this like much more ungrounded energy. You'd still done amazing things. It didn't discredit who you were at that point, but it's just seeing the transformation in 2 years of what you've taken yourself through. It's kind of spectacular.
Yeah, and I feel like the success that I had gained to that point, and thank you for acknowledging that, the success I felt that I had gotten to that point was based out of sheer tenacity and grit, and everything that as far as your ego can take you is as far as I had gone. And I had 2 of my biggest years back to back. I had gone through, I had a baby in the midst of lockdown and all of the things that went with that, postpartum, and had gone through all of it. I uprooted my whole family. We moved to Mexico for freedom and sovereignty and sovereign living in the midst of all of the things. And, we're still here in Mexico. And I had gone through a lot, and I had 2 big income years, and I had never felt so poor. I had never felt in such a void. because everything, the entire way I had built my businesses to that point had been purely through the ego's validation seeking and the push and the pressure and the chase. And so nothing ever felt good, because the way I actually earn, like the way you earn your income, there's a frequency to that. And so the way that I was earning it was all on a push and a pull and a push on a pull. And then I was chasing, trying to find the answer, trying to find what is it going to be. You know, even when we had my call that time, I was like, well, I feel like the jack of all trades. Like, I got to pick something and I got to run with it, but I don't know what to pick. And it was because that I was constantly, it was all an external drive. Mm-hmm. And in February of that year, so about a month and a half later, I had this crazy soul awakening. And that was, I remember one of the things that I'll never etch out of my memory is when you, in one of the calls you did early on when I first found you in August of 2021, it was a call shortly after that. I think it was quantum
prosperity.
Might have been the wealth one. I can't
remember. Quantum prosperity.
Okay, it must have been quantum prosperity. It was like the first thing I had ever met you and initially jumped.
Or the French thing, Le Saut Quantique. You had a French title, and it was a masterclass. Is that possible? Or was
no, it was right after avant-garde. But I remember you did this with the veil, and you're like, people are. And I just remember being like, I think I've just recently peeked through the veil. I just saw the other side. And this was in February of 2022 when I had this big brand emerge, and it was like, freedom is my currency, paving the way for a world where women are only wealthy as they are free. Like, this is it. And I went into the ocean wearing like a pantsuit and a white shirt and a blazer. And I was going in as Jennifer, you know, Jennifer is what I always went as, Jennifer Bitner. It was like professional. And I came out as Jenny. Like, you know, my nephews call me Jenny. My husband calls me Jenny Bear. Like, you know, only like the close people that like saw me in my truth always called me Jenny. And I came out as Jenny. I've never gone by Jenny, like professionally, if you will, like on. And I came out as Jenny, and I was like letting it all go. And we were, you know, and it was like my soul broke through. And for the first time, I started understanding what peace of mind wealth was, and that how you earn your money, that exchange, that energetic exchange that happens when you're making aligned wealth is so different than like desperately either seeking to find the thing or desperately trying to make money to make ends meet. That's very different than when you're actually sharing your song and you're like, I am here to do a thing and this is it. And you know, you'll put out an offer and you're like, even if no one buys it, I am so proud of that offer. And it is awesome. And I know that if I deliver it, it is going to be amazing if someone buys it. So, hey, it's here. And if someone wants it, someone wants it. And you're not looking to see like, did anyone comment yet? I'm deleting it if no one comments. It's a different energy than, oh, I got to create something and it better work, because if it doesn't work, then I might need to give up on this business or whatever the case might be. And so it was just this journey of self-discovery and unwinding and unraveling and realizing that all the areas that I was seeking validation, I mean, I was the person who would come into mentorship and be like, hi, I am going to be your best student and I want to get a gold star, an A+, and you are going to be so proud of me. And like, you probably caught this, Melanie, like you probably noticed that at the beginning stages, that's like exactly who I was, because I was raised that way. And that's how I got everything in my life, was just through showing up and being perfect and being the one, and, you know, who did whatever it took. And inside though, at what cost? It's like, you can achieve success that way, but at what cost?
Well, this is really important, I think, because a lot of people talk about the hustle energy in business. And there are very dualistic opinions about the hustle energy. Some people say the hustle energy is great. Why are we shaming the hustle? Other people say, don't do the hustle thing. It's not good. And I think at the end of the day, what it really boils down to is that if you are able to understand both the energy of leaning in business and the energy of leaning back in business, and you understand both fully, and you make a choice of where you want your energy to be, then you're fine. It's just that most people don't know that there's a nuance. And this is kind of what you were saying, like you were not aware that there was any other way except for the way that you were doing, which was the most if I don't do this and if I don't succeed at this, it will never happen for me and it can't happen. So I got to push and I've got to do it and I've got to do it a lot and I've got to say it, I've got to do it, and and it's all me. And if I don't do it, I'm going to fail and it's going to be this. And that energy is a lot. And so what happens is that it becomes exhausting. And even if you are successful with the hustle, what we've seen time and time again are stories of women who do become successful that way. And while they're in it, they will stand for it fully. They'll be like, I'm not hustling. This is perfect what I'm doing. This is great. This is good. But then when they get sick of it or when they burn out, or if ever they learn another way, they're like, whoa, I just didn't know there was another way. I just didn't know. And it happens so often that women come to me starting that way. They've been used to the kind of typical masculine energy coaching that will tell you, you go no matter what, and you put your feelings aside and you just go. And what I really wanted to bring to this industry, because it's what I craved when I came in here, was where's the authenticity in the woman's experience when that she doesn't feel like she's got it to do it? Like, how many things do we actually need to override to be in that hustle all the time? Like, you need to override your moon, you need to override your feelings, you need to override your intuition, you need to override, like, how many times do you override yourself in order to stay in that constant pushing frequency? And so yes, I did notice when you came into my world with the, like, I will be your best student. But what I loved about you is that you were so truthful about that I knew I was going to be able to be honest with you and to get to really like meet you where you were and get you to understand how powerful you were and how amazing you were without needing to be anybody's best student. Because I've had people play that game behind the scenes, and what that looks like is they want me to validate them, but they don't want to tell me that they want me to validate them. And so they'll come in pretending they're more powerful than they are, acting as though they're understanding what I'm saying. And then on the first chance of them not being eye to eye with something I'm saying, the actual truth of their frequency comes out, and it feels so odd for me, that experience. But with you, you were so honest about it. You were like, I want to be the best. I want you to love me.
All the things.
You were like, I want you to love me. I want you to really know how much I care about this and I value being here. And I was like, I know. And like the fact that you're honest about it I just know we're gonna transcend this. And we did, because we were able to have some of the most honest conversations, because you didn't try to hide that and pretend you were cool while underneath being like that. You led with that. And it made it so much easier to dig up. And for anyone listening to this, if you have a mentor and there's things about you that you know are in the room, maybe you're putting them on a pedestal a little bit, or maybe you're wanting validation from them, tell them, because the minute you do, something can change. They can address it. You can address it. It's when you pretend it's not there that it's going to always kind of erupt from under the surface. And you were always so transparent with that. And I think it's one of the reasons we were able to get to where we got so fast and so deep and so true. Like, it took work, but it was honest work, which is so different than the underlying stuff we sometimes need to do.
Yeah. And I think that comes back to, it's not what we're doing, it's how we're doing it, right? It's not about shaming the hustle. It's about what's behind the hustle.
Yeah.
And this all comes back to, like, what frequency are we giving out when it comes to, like, why do I need that validation? Why would I need you to see me? Why would I need you to, want me to be part of all of the things? It's just, there's something beneath that. And it's like addressing, what is the soul actually screaming for? What does it want so badly? What is it chasing outside of itself, instead of realizing that when it goes in, it actually finds exactly what it's looking for? And I think that was one of the biggest things that I learned in this journey, was that I was constantly, I was wanting my husband to act a certain way or do a certain thing, to ask certain questions at the end of the day, to XYZ, like I wanted him to do all these things. And it's like, so now I'm placing my joy and expectations on what he does, what he asks, etc. I wanted my mentors to ask certain things, to do certain things, to show up certain things so that I could feel a certain way. I wanted my friends to do their certain things, say certain things, text a certain way. Like, where all of this external need to be full, to be fit, to feel worthy, when that flipped, and I was like, oh, I need to ask myself those questions. I need to sit in silence and actually go vertical for those questions, not horizontal, because nobody has the answer. And you were one of the only mentors that I actually kept in that 2 years where I was like, coach hopping, like I was like, 10,000 for you, 20,000 for you. Well, I'll take that 3-month container. And it's like, I just couldn't stop. It was like an addiction. I think but you were the only one that I actually renewed with time and time again. And I realized it because I was in a space where it was just, it was the energy of the space. It was a container where I was held. It's a space where I wasn't looking for answers. I was actually looking for myself. And every time I showed up and I listened and I tuned in and I was at another part and another, and it just kept going. It was like I was finding more and more and more of myself. And it was through that realization, that's where it went from like, I'm peeking through the veil to like, boom, veil's off. We're in the next, like we're here. There's a whole new world. I am in it. And I am super excited to like welcome more people. So like, I feel like between me and Katia, I'm like the VIP door holder to people who are like just peeking through the veil. Cause I'm like, oh yeah, I'm still here, but come in. Cause when you come in, you're going to meet my people, and my people who have been doing this work for a really long time are going to create the experience. And so there's just some women that I have these connections with where, now we have this collective and we have these spaces where this work gets to be done. And I think that's why I'm so passionate, about bringing people and having them learn about frequency technology and then the quantum physics and all the things that I'm learning now that I would by far, like I just flew to Mexico City 2 weeks ago. I qualified as one of the founders in Mexico. Yes, I'm Canadian, but I am actually one of the founders in Mexico for this company. And I was flown to Mexico City to meet the founder, who is a quantum physicist, and he's been a monk for 12 years. So he's literally this genius who just sits, and as he walks around, he's just like you just literally feel like he's walking, but like sitting on top of a mountain. It's the most interesting thing. And I'm sitting there learning it. I'm like, I'm not trying to pretend like I know this. I'm not trying to pretend like I've been studying the dimensions and all of this stuff for the last 10 years of my life. No, I'm coming in saying, I am new. I don't know barely anything about this, but I am so intrigued. And I know in my journey, how far I've come has just been about seeing where I'm at now, taking an interest, learning the things, and then my passion for sharing it with pure authenticity about where I'm at in my journey is why other people can relate to that. It's why other people can be like I was the top performing salesperson in our entire country for a fitness club, and I never worked out. And people were like, how you hate exercise, you hate working out. I don't understand. How are you selling the most out of our entire country? You're always number one on the list. And I'm like, because when people come in, I tell them, hi, I'm your membership sales representative, and I get it. I also don't like working out. I just hired a personal trainer. I had to sell my cell phone plan to pay for them. But I was 21 years old, and I'm like, here I am. I get it. I know exactly where you're at. I'm a beginner too. And it's that frequency of me not trying to put on a face, me not trying to be someone I'm not, me being so transparent that like, I get you, I'm in the same place as you. I don't know everything, but what I do, I'm going to share with you. And if I don't know the answer, I'm going to get it. And it's like, it's that when we're so honest with ourselves and we can be so honest with other people, instead of hoping they'll put us on a pedestal, we're actually coming human to human, shoulder to shoulder, right? And that's like everything that you've ever wanted, is to have people that can recognize we are all part of the same flame.
I love that. And I feel like this was such a big challenge for me in the channel, like specifically, how many times I was gifted the opportunity to people please instead of stay exactly in alignment with what I knew I was supposed to do. And it was brought over and over and over again, like if you love me, if you love me, you're gonna see me in this right now. You're gonna give into me in this right now. You're gonna do this exception for me right now. You're gonna override the rule for me. And if you don't do it, you don't love me. Like that was presented so many times in the channel, and we were able to not necessarily with Jenny, but with many participants, but having that moment every time and saying like, this channel is as good as It's frequency.
Mm-hmm.
It's as good as its truth, which is if you only love me when I give you everything you want, and I only love you because you love me back, this is not sisterhood. This is convenience, and it's authority, and it's hierarchy, and it's pedestal, and it's not what I'm trying to do. Sisters fight. They borrow each other's stuff. They misunderstand each other. They think, you don't care about me. They get all in their heads. They imagine things that didn't happen, and then they come home. And that was the energy that I really, really, really kept throughout the entire channel. So important in my heart. And I feel like some people really got it. Some people struggled with it. But at the end of the day, I can say that I held that frequency for 2 years, and it changed my life to hold it. And I think the people who really held it with me will have a transformation that will last a lifetime, because it was not easy even to receive. Sometimes it's like, Melanie, I have the power. And this is something I think everyone, it's such a meaningful conversation, but in life, sometimes you have the power to make everything better for someone. And it's so hard to not use that power sometimes, because it feels like it would make you nice to do that. But in fact, it's super disempowering to the person. And so like there were times where you came to me, Jenny, with an attitude that was so loving and so childlike joy, and just, I could have given you a pat on the head and a golden star, and I would have made you feel like the happiest kid on the bus. But I would not be in front of a woman today. I'd be in front of the same girl hoping for a star. And that's the thing, like, I have it in me to say, you did so good. Yes, of course you're the best. Like, I could do that because I want to do that, because I love you and I do see you, and I can tell that you're like, did you see what I did? Did you watch it? Did you see it? And I'm like, I did. You did the best. Like, there's a part of me that wants to do that. And it's like, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't give her the cheapest kind of love you can give her. And I feel like in being so strong in that, and there were times I could tell, it bruised, and I was like, we're going to be okay. Like, I just knew it. 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 And for us to be sitting like this today is such a testimony to this work and to what we've been through, because like, this is what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be, you get that I'm a big deal because I've done what I've had to do, and I'm a human being with all my flaws, and I did a really freaking good job. And I see that you're a big deal because you did everything you needed to do, and you're an amazing human being who did a freaking good job. And that is like, go us, instead of like, but you, and this is what I wanted. And I feel like if we can get here, women will walk together so much further in this world, because it really is equal power, but different. You've got this thing, I've got this thing. How do we help each other? I've got this thing, you've got this thing. You nailed that, go us. Instead of, yes, but your thing's more meaningful and your thing's more shiny and I want to be shiny, and go us. Like, whatever it is that you needed to do and I needed to do for this to work, go us. And I feel that we got there. I'm so happy.
So happy. That is the essence of your frequency is your currency. That is exactly it. Because people pleasing will only please the ego. The only way you can serve someone is by allowing them to feel the trigger and to take that trigger up, purify it with universe, God, source, Mother Earth, and allow that purification to come back into their own soul and spirit, and then allow the transformation to take place. You people pleasing me, I would never have ever transformed into what I did. And I'll always take it back to that one moment with that one offer and that proposal that I made you. And that response, actually, I sat with it and I'm like, go Lenny, because that was everything that I needed. And the amount of times I can even tell you, like, Kyra will send me a screenshot. Like, Kyra and I talk every single day, and have for 2 years. Like, she's someone that I've taken out of this channel where we've just gone through everything together in Victoria. And Kyra will send me screenshots. She's like, look at Lenny's response from this thing. Like, fucking A, that is also like, like, we're like, she loves seeing you in your freaking power. Okay. Like, that is, and that, and it's like your ability to hold. Like, sometimes we're even watching for it, like, ooh, that was, ooh, I wonder how Melanie's going to respond. It's like, and then your response comes in, or like, nailed it. It's just this, it's always this, like, you hold it. There's so many opportunities for you to people please. And it goes to show how much work you've done in holding that. I know I'm doing them a disservice if I just pat them on the head and give them their gold star right now. Like, I'm only doing what their parents did. I'm only doing what their teacher, you know, and it's like, you're actually breaking the cycle for people's egos who haven't fully unraveled. And so this has been like, it's been a challenging couple of years when you think about all the little deaths you have to have and all the unraveling and all, but then when you get to the other side, like, I can honestly say, I feel on the other side of it, I'm like, this is the best damn party I have ever been to. Like, wow, the initiation to come into this place, it's like, whoo, you got to pay the dues. But if you're willing to come home like this and to like feel so open and free and fully like clean and pure, it's like, man, like, you'll still be given little gifts and little opportunities. Sometimes I'll be like, ooh, okay, this one's a gift, this one's a gift, this one's a gift, like, you know, and you have to kind of move through it. And then when you're getting through it on the other side is so much quicker. That is the time collapsing. That is, you know, those quantum leaps. It's when you actually start realizing that your processing time is so much quicker. Like, the cookies only take 30 seconds to bake now.
I love that. And you know what? This is the other really interesting thing with this is the people pleasing. It's not that you don't end up pleasing people, because at the end of the day, you're listening to like 30 plus women who are very pleased with the way this channel experience happened. And so when people say like, don't be a people pleaser, it doesn't mean don't please people. It means don't please people for love.
Don't please
them
people
because of love, from love. Like, in the end, I was able to give you exactly what you needed, but from a place of solidness inside of me, not for a place of solidness. If I felt wobbly every time you needed me to do something, then I would have done it for you to like me, instead of from love for you. Like, for exactly what Farina just said, like, for love instead of, or from love instead of for love, because it really isn't. It's a millimeter away. But if I do something for you from love, I do something so different than if I'm doing it for love. If it's from love,
something in return either.
No, because it's already
love,
full.
there's no expectations.
Yeah. And so it's like, even if at the end of the day you didn't like me for it, or you didn't love me anymore for it, I still would have done it from love. But if I did it hoping for love and it fails, then I failed. So in one, I'm always in alignment with myself. In the other one, it depends how you respond. And I feel like that is one of the most sturdy things I found in the channel, is like, either I know I'm me no matter what, or the other one is I succeed and fail at the whim of whoever accepted or didn't accept my behavior. And I think that's where a lot of the trying to please people from a place of I want it to validate that I'm lovable comes from. So this is such deep work, but I'm just so happy to see the evolution, and I'm seeing you, like, you know, building something from a place that just feels so different. Like, I feel your passion. You're still Jenny. You're still effervescent and passionate and high vibe, and you know, you're still that person, but your feet are so firmly planted and your heart is wide open and your awareness of yourself is so big, and your willingness. And, you know, I just want to give this last example. Like, we had a little bit of a misunderstanding around this call. And, you know, I've been trying to navigate. There's been a lot of speakers, and a lot of them had to message me in order to make sure that we nail every call. And I got a message from Katia and Jenny on Tuesday, but I knew our call was today. And in my mind, they were interviewing each other, kind of what Catherine and Rad were doing. And so I thought I'll listen to the message the day of, so I don't forget what they want me to do, and then that'll be it. But when I listened this morning, it was like, oh no, actually you're interviewing each one of us. And I was like, oh no. So at first it wasn't necessarily going to work with me to do that. And so I was like, oh no. Okay, here's where I'm at. Here's what's happening. And the response I got was so aligned. I cannot tell you. It was like, okay, no worries. We're going to figure it out. And I'm telling you, it's like, from that response, everything just kind of, and next thing we're able to make it work exactly the way they wanted it to. Had it come with, needing the validation of having the thing. We had planned this. It didn't work. What do you mean? This is what we said. Look, here's the evidence. We said it right. It was a misunderstanding. What did it? Had I received that, I would have had to put a boundary. I would have had to navigate the situation in a way. I didn't need to do any of it. It was just like untangling the frequencies. All is well. And here's the delivery of exactly what you had hoped for. So it just goes to show, like, when you're not pushing and needing the validation, you actually you let go of the resistance melts and the solution appears. And today that was the most beautiful representation of that. I could not, and I was actually very shocked at the response. I was like, this is amazing, like, whoa. And it all ended up working, of course. So again, just an example in real time of how this is real.
That is it. And that's the work, because a year ago I would have melted. I would have been like, but this is not what my human wanted, but I had a whole plan and I've been envisioning. And it was like, as soon as you were like, I don't think this was, okay, no worries. Well, let's just go with what we think can happen in an hour, you know, and because of, like you said, because of that, it just allowed everything. It allowed source just to take it and plan it from there. And so, yeah, I think they're such beautiful moments of remembering how powerful it is really to just release our own ideas, our own expectations, and allow it to be led. Like, we should be the follower of a bigger vision, right? We shouldn't be making the decisions. If we allow the decisions to go up, you'll get your message, and then you just follow that, and everything always works out. So thank you for.
Well, that sounds like a very powerful statement. And now I'm going to read your bio. Jenny Bitner is not your typical motivational trainer. With a rare blend of spirituality, mindset for success, and infectious sense of fun, Jenny has earned a reputation as a catalyst for high-performance teams. For over 18 years, she has been at the forefront of executive leadership coaching, sales, and mindset development. Jenny's approach is rooted in the belief that true transformation begins within. She understands that sustainable success isn't just about achieving goals. It's about evolving the very fabric of one's mindset and spirit. Through her unique teachings, she empowers individuals to tap into their innate potential and leverage their roles as vital components of the larger organizational vision. What sets Jenny apart is her ability to merge spirituality, skills, and strategy seamlessly. She recognizes that true mastery involves aligning one's inner compass with external objectives. By weaving together these often distinct worlds, she offers a holistic path to success that resonates deeply with key team players. Jenny's secret weapon is her infectious enthusiasm for learning and growing, which she imparts through the frequency of fun and her signature method of profit meets play. She understands that when learning is enjoyable, it unlocks her superpower to retain skills that stick and truly have a desire to do the work. What's fun gets done. Her workshops and sessions are infused with an energy that not only engages but also embeds skills and strategies firmly into the psyche of her participants. Beyond her extensive experience in corporate and entrepreneurial workplaces, Jenny's impact is seen through the tangible, sustained results her clients achieve. Companies under her guidance experience a marked uptick in productivity, cohesion, and individual fulfillment. Her holistic approach acknowledges that true excellence encompasses not only professional achievement, but also personal well-being. In a world where mediocrity is most common, Jenny Bitner stands as a beacon of inspiration for her teams to play out their full potential. Her teachings transcend the ordinary, illuminating a path to extraordinary performance and fulfillment for both individuals and organizations. If you're ready to unlock your team's full potential, Jenny is who you've been waiting for. What a bio! What a bio! That's awesome. Thank you so much, Jenny, for your energy and for such a good conversation. Like, this was really, really valuable. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me over for tea. This was great.
So now we have a process. Katia's coming back and she's going to give us a process. And then I'm going to move into a conversation with Katia. So this is like, we're rolling with it because this was not supposed to happen. And this is the way it's happening. And I'm all about it. I'm all about plot twists. This is the way life works. And so let's have Katia come on up. Jenny, thank you so, so much. I love you. Thank you for an amazing 2 years together. I'm so grateful. And I love you so much.
I love you. Thank you.
All right. So let's have Katia back.
Thank you for having me back. I merged the two experiences into one with the activation, and I was really feeling called to honor the energy of everything that brought me here today to this moment. When I began my walk, say 2020, 2021, I would go to the beach. And it was in the beach when I felt myself connecting to all the elements. The sun was my fire, the earth, the water, the wind, myself, my body, the space. And I remember having a conversation in my head with a woman. And I'm telling her, this is the beach in Puerto Rico, these are the waves, and this is just, how everything flows. And then my human pops up. Who are you talking to? I don't know, but she's never been to Puerto Rico and she's coming. And I'm going to be helping her and we're going to host this. And then all of a sudden it turned into this awareness that I was going to be hosting events in Puerto Rico, bringing nature into what I felt was the experience to heal. So that was sometime in July 2021. And then the Lionsgate portal happens. And that was the first time I heard you speak into for me, for you, for us, that really landed. And I'm like, if I want to do retreat centers, it sounds like this is just for me. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, but I'm going to be helping people. So it's also for you. But it didn't feel energetically in the for you, for me, for us. So I surrendered to the meditation. That day I was at the beach as well. And in the meditation, what I saw was a space where we were surrounded by nature, and the frequency was women laughing, music, song, tears, just a powerful sisterhood. And that's what I wrote and posted August 12th, 2021, and I get to share it. Whew. I see a beautiful space where nature surrounds and enhances the feeling of peace, ultimate love, acceptance, forgiveness, freedom, and joy. You will find your soul's calling here. You will feel safe here. You will hear your inner voice here. You will feel loved here. You will feel nourished, replenished, renewed here. You will feel the duality of it all here. You will find your purpose here. You will feel safe holding disappointment here. You will reconnect with your goddess here. You will feel safe here, feeling energetically authentic. You will honor your vessel here, and you will feel enlightenment here. A place for unity, healing, growing, evolving, of an empowered, energetic woman expression. I wrote it, posted it, and forgot about it. Like literally forgot about it. A month in, I have a dream that I'm in the jungles of Colombia with one of my mentors. And then you pop with the towel on your head in the Q&A. At this time, mind you, I am in the hospital and I'm navigating wanting to be present in all the calls, but then I have you on one ear and I'm also like making sure the residents are not doing anything weird with the patients. So that day you popped with a towel on your head. The energy was so strong that I'm like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what she's saying. And I get to sit with this replay again. So I sat with the replay and the energy was just, I don't know what this is, but this is like, I don't know what this is. And part of me was just saying, no, let me just, where am I going to get the money from? How am I going to do? And I got the whole human, how am I in my head? And then as I said yes to Colombia, I entered a body detox and I did a bodied fast. And I was at the beach fasting tuning into my next steps. What do I do? What do I do? And it's like you dropped into my field. And what the message was, you asked for this and now you're backing down. So that's what made me pretty much message the Alpha Femme team. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to get this done, but hold my seat. And showing up in this beautiful container, the first calls when you said, put down your sword, that need to prove, that need to show up, and that gave me permission to just simply be as I was, show up when I could, be in the calls when I could be present, get the replays when I could. And each call just opened up a new layer of myself. I found myself being reflected in each call. Each week, what was happening in my present moment resonated with what was happening with my sisters. And when I went to Colombia, nobody knew. You did. I was able to express my body cleanse, my toxic habits, my toxic mindset. And the only space where I truly opened, I'm going to go to the jungles of Colombia and do ayahuasca. It was in the channel. And the transition from there to, oh my gosh, now I'm feeling called to work with more plant medicine and travel and quit my job and hold space for me. I don't know what's going to happen, was in the channel. And the biggest transformation that I felt was not just me showing up, was just really understanding that I was coming home. And that's what it felt like when I walked in Tulum. My baby goddess was like, what if I'm not perfect? What if they don't like me? And this and the other. And when I opened the door and I started hugging all of them, and I, read my roomie, that was such a beautiful alchemy, because at first I was not going to go. Something pulled me forward to go. I messaged Jenny, and then we somehow ended up in this chat, and then Rad and I ended up being roomies. That was just such a beautiful. We borrowed each other's makeup. She put makeup on me. We shared jewelry. We cracked up. We ate snacks. I have no way of expressing how I was coming home, hugging each of my sisters. And the way my body imprinted this is, if my body knows what sisterhood and love really feels like, anything that is not that is not right. And it gets to be looked at. And everybody that has the opportunity to walk in, pull up a chair, and sit in a room where you can really be seen and received, reflected, activated, borrow your sister's makeup, and laugh about snacks later, is what the world needs right now. It's what sisterhood needs for me.
Like, I'm hearing this and I have like butterflies in my tummy, because I feel like there's so much superficial talk about what this stuff is, and it makes it sound so complicated, and it makes it sound like you've got to journey to the end of your life and back in order to get one friend. And the fact is, it's more like put your sword down, drop the thing you think they'll need in order to love you, and exchange makeup and snacks. And if you can do that, life is so simple. And it's like, when we really think about it in the depth of our spirit, when we think about feeling free and happy and awakened, we imagine that childlike joy of being around other people without overthinking or judging or overthinking ourselves or judging ourselves, and it being more of a process of like, I love being with you, I love being with you. You want to do each other's makeup? Yeah. You want snacks? Yeah. Like, that's really what the little calling inside is. Sometimes it's so simple. And it's just like, can I borrow what you love? Yes. Do you want to borrow what I love? Yes. We're friends. We're sisters. Like that. It's so simple and it's so beautiful. And you said something before, and I got this vision I've got to share with you. Before you at the beginning of the call, when you did the visualization, there were bird sounds in the track that you were playing. And I don't know why, I just kept feeling something about the birds. And I just had this, I don't know what it is that you said in this moment, but someone else at the same time said this was really a calling in the comments. And I just got this full circle moment vision of something. I remember when I was a little kid, I had my grandma and we always had interesting conversations. Like I would ask her, what color is the sky really? And she would say, it's blue. And I said, well, yes, but we both call it that. But how will we know if we don't see the same thing? Because you'll always call it blue and I'll always call it blue. I want to see what you see. And she was like, what? You know, she'd say things like, you gotta get up because the early bird gets the worm. And I'd say, yes, but look what happens to the early worm. Stop it. But one of the things that I remember in my conversations with my grandma, and I remember this one specifically, is a time where I asked her, what are the birds saying? And her answer to me, because the birds are going, and this is what her answer was. It doesn't matter. They understand each other. And I feel like what happened on that day is something beyond human language occurred. And I just went, and you guys went, and next thing we were in this channel, and it was like, I don't know what I said. You guys, I don't know what you said. And I'm like, well, what did you hear? You're like, I don't even know. I heard, and it felt like right, like I had to go. And it's like, sometimes it's that simple. It's the frequency. Are birds really saying something in bird language, or are they making a cry on a frequency that's understood? And it's like the calling is on a frequency, and that's all it was. I received a calling and you could receive a calling on the same frequency. And it's the most beautiful thing. And that really is what sisterhood is. It's just callings on the same frequency. Business is callings on the same frequency. Relationships are callings on the same frequency. Motivation, inspiration, it's a calling on the same frequency. And I feel like what's so amazing is as we're all putting in our melody, if we're looking back at, you know, some of the ways that this was described so far on the channel, everyone's playing their note, to use Nadi as example, and we're harmonizing. A melody is occurring, and that calling is now the calling that's bringing the people into the summit. And it really just is the simplest thing. We're speaking of the simplest things, but it's resonating and resonating and resonating. And I feel like if we can simplify this and keep it as clean as the frequency, we're going to get this message out so far. And that's why I've never really needed the ads, and I've never really needed the external things to push my frequency, because all I needed to make sure of is that it was squeaky clean and certain, and then people felt the calling every time.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. So you have had quite the journey though, because you literally started the channel as doctor in a hospital with patients, and then was like, there's something else I'm supposed to be doing, and I can't tell anybody about this because nobody's going to understand this, and I don't understand it yet. So I'm going to go on this voyage. I'm going to figure myself out. And then next thing, it was this holistic medicine saying, let me bring more of what the earth already has instead of prescribing everybody medicine right away. And there was this big conversation about medicine, like, what kind of doctor do I want to be? Do I want it to always be a prescription, or is it sometimes I want to care enough about my patients to find out if there's another intuitive hit that I get that might be a better solution first before we go there? And so where are you now with this journey?
I kind of want to say I'm almost back into medical school, and I want to call it Energy Shamanic School, where I am including internal medicine as part of my practice because that's the basis, the foundation, and I can do the medical part. Bringing Jenny, for example, had Jenny come initially without being screened, she would have gotten her scan, her sonograms, her blood work, her physical exam, and the whole medical aspect, to then dive into the energetic portion. What I'm understanding now is seasons and where we live and the composition of our body already has a frequency. And if you match it with what you eat, with how you think, with how you feel, with how you move it, you are already activating the doctor within. And I've been tuning into how energy gets to be moved, breath, sound, movement, and touch, and using frequency sounds and frequency devices and plant medicine. And ultimately, I've been finding myself diving into this quantum rabbit hole of how everything is available for your healing. The key is you. What do you believe? What do you desire? What do you want to focus on? And my intention is to be the energetic space for that to happen for you by not intervening, but just witnessing and presenting all the possibilities that are available, listening to your body, witnessing your composition. Where do you live? And all those things that are also tied to thought patterns, subconscious, those that are inherited, those that have to do with epigenetics, those that you don't even know are there and are. So much as you're open and curious to play, to find yourself, that's my path. Opening nature as my office, energy as medicine, and you being the last doctor.
Whoa, this is so huge. Do you mind if we touch real quick on some of what it took throughout this journey for you to stay strong? Because you also manifested, let's say bridge events, you know, like the leader is tested, like the bridge is tested kind of thing. Um, how did you navigate some of the really difficult things that have happened over the last 2 years that really maybe tested your trust?
Well, one of the things that I feel activated and still does activate rage in a way in me gets to be the way the healthcare system disempowers you. Because when I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, I was there. I felt that. You have a medical condition, it progresses. We don't know how complicated it is, if it's relapsing, remitting, if it's progressively, da da da. And that disempowered moment where you're told that you need the pill and that's the only way to do it, and that you require the health insurance to pay the pill, and you require the appointment to then get the pill, and then that is just such a very disempowering way. And what I've been finding myself navigating these last 2 years is that's a paradigm, and all things have right to exist. My response to it energetically is draining my energy when I can actually focus it on this is another modality that we can consider. This is actually beneficial. It works. I'm here. This can stay where it is. And I don't have to spend my energy in wanting to convince you this doesn't work. Because ultimately, energy is energy, and wherever you put your focus will serve you. And ultimately, if you find yourself stuck on chronic pills, getting the side effect of that, it's not until you're open to look another way that I can come in and show. And my journey was pretty much surrendering that backpack of I need to make you see it my way because you're doing it wrong or because I want to help you. That ugh, it was such a heavy backpack.
Yeah.
When I started leaning back into how do I give myself my medicine? What season am I in now? We're transitioning to Vata, that's air and space. What are the spices that are opposite? How do I serve my body and walk that path? My frequency turns into one where I start getting DMs. Can I get an appointment? A PayPal thing, and this or that, or I get asked for an event, or I get interviewed in an opportunity. And what I'm noticing is one of the reasons why the activation was that your body has energy, information, and as you're giving yourself your own medicine to heal yourself, that is the medicine you give to the world. And that is the vibration, the frequency that turns you into the match for the people that want to resonate and walk and hold frequency with you. And it was letting go of the struggle of wanting to convince and wanting to save you and focusing on saving me that pretty much.
Whoa. You've been on a journey. Like honestly, that this has been a deep journey. And a lot of it you took within yourself, and it was just the knowing that the energy was supportive that I think really helped. You leaned in at times, you leaned back at times, but I have seen you walk through some really intense things with so much poise and so much strength, and it has been really inspiring for me to watch you do that. You've brought me a lot. Like I watched you navigate things and I was like, I wonder how is she gonna navigate that. And I just watched you do it in such an empowered way. And I'm just so inspired and proud and in awe of the woman that you are. Like this was an incredible 2 years, and having a front row seat to that journey has been a gift for me. Like you've really given me a lot of, you empower my strength of belief in people. Like you've really done an incredible job with yourself and your beliefs and your health and your body and your mindset and your heart and your forgiveness and your, I've been blown away, truly.
I receive. Thank you.
So what is the last thing, if there was one last thing you would like to leave the group with before I read your bio, any last beautiful words for the group?
Your body remembers joy. Your body remembers love. Your body remembers pleasure. Your body remembers bliss.
Mm.
Anything that does not vibrate as that in your body right now is a gift. And it's an opportunity to lean in and alchemize it, turn it into your story and your medicine.
That is beautiful. Thank you so much. So I will read Katia's bio. Meet Dr. Katia Miller-Pagan, physician, earth mystic, devoted apprentice to nature's wisdoms and hybrid healer. What brought Dr. Katia to studying internal medicine was a chronic battle with asthma from a young age that led her to a deeper desire to discover root causes to physical manifestations. She entered into the health industry as a nurse, then medical doctor. At the top of her field, her career took a turn after being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, a blessing in disguise. This became the catalyst for her personal healing journey in alternative modalities in ancient medicine, such as stillness, breath, sound, movement, plant medicine, and food. She not only reversed her symptoms, but also made the image findings consistent with her condition disappear. Dr. Katia deepened her study and widened her range of practice from clinical medicine to include nature's wisdom, energy intuition, and frequency therapy. She now desires to bring healing through a tailored and holistic approach to your health, co-facilitating retreat experiences, supporting in-person deep dives, and speaking on behalf of Mother Earth as her intention to inspire the awakening of the last doctor you'll ever need, the alchemist within you. Whoa. I love that. That is the most beautiful story, and I am in love. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your gifts, your beautiful song, your voice, the visualization you did for us. It was all so beautiful. It's been an honor walking with you for the last 2 years. Thank you so much for answering the calling.
My pleasure. Thank you for calling us.
I'll just bring Jenny back on so we can say goodbye as we said hello from the three of us. Ladies, thank you for modeling such beautiful sisterhood. Thank you for modeling team spirit. Thank you for wanting to co-create something and bring something unique to the Channel Summit. I think this was a really beautiful addition. I'm so glad everything worked out, and I'm actually so glad that we have this example of what's possible when the frequency in communication is pristine, when the intention is the higher good of all the people and not how am I going to look, am I going to be good enough, do I matter, when it's like whatever's best for the collective will be what's best for the collective is. And it just so happened we were so in tune with that being the outcome that we ended up doing exactly all of it. So thank you for your time, your generosity, all the things. We love you so much. Ladies that are still watching, thank you for staying on for an extended session. We have one last call today and then 3 tomorrow, 2 the day after, and that will complete the summit. So thank you so much for being with us live, and we will see you on the internet.